I walked into our bedroom, and there she was, half naked, giggling like a schoolgirl, sitting on top of a man I'd never seen before in my life. A sanitation worker, by the looks of his uniform, still wearing his reflective vest and work boots. I didn't even scream. I just stood there, watching, frozen. That moment cracked something in me I didn't even know could break. And what happened after? Well, you'll want to hear every second of it. I always thought the first time I'd see the woman I loved in bed with another man, I'd black out, that I'd lose control, throw fists, break furniture. Instead, I stood still, like my feet were bolted to the floor, watching her ride a sanitation worker like he was her first love, and I was just some stranger who'd walked into the wrong house. It happened on a Thursday. I remember because it was bulk trash day, and the stench of the alley still clung to the wind. I'd left work early, wanted to surprise her. We'd been distant lately. I blamed myself. Thought maybe if I brought home takeout from that Thai place she liked, we could reconnect. She always left the back door unlocked. I walked in quiet, planning to creep up behind her and whisper something stupid. I had 2 bags of food in one hand and flowers tucked under my arm. I even rehearsed what I'd say. Got you something spicy, just like you. That was the line. What an idiot. I remember hearing a laugh. Hers. High-pitched. Happy. Not the one she used with me. This one was free, like it didn't care who heard it. And then I saw him. He was sitting on our bed. Our bed. Wearing a filthy neon vest, still wet from the alley grime. His boots were unlaced, mud on the rug I spent 4 hours cleaning last weekend. She was on top of him. No shame. No fear. Just enjoying it. I don't even know how long I stood there. 5 seconds? 10? Time collapsed. She saw me first. And do you know what she did? She smiled. Not a guilty, caught in the act kind of smile. No. It was smug. Like I was the one in the wrong for interrupting her fun. Oh, she said, brushing her hair back like it was a job interview. You're home early. That's it. No apology. No panic. Just that wicked, amused little smirk. And the guy, he didn't even stop. Just looked me up and down and chuckled. You didn't lock the door, I managed to say. She shrugged. Why would I? I didn't think you'd be home. Thought you were working that overtime. The worst part? She wasn't even trying to hide it. She didn't scramble to cover herself. She didn't throw a sheet. She sat there, half naked, daring me to react. And I didn't. I put the food down on the dresser. Set the flowers next to it. I remember thinking, don't drop the pad thai. She likes it spicy. Then I walked out. Didn't slam the door. Didn't raise my voice. Just walked out of the house, my heart shattered in a way that felt irreversible. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was what she said as I left. You really are the most gullible man I've ever met. I didn't sleep that night. I drove for hours, circling neighborhoods I hadn't been to in years. Passed by the high school where we first met, the Waffle House where I proposed. I stopped outside her mother's place at one point, half tempted to knock on the door and ask if she always knew her daughter was poisoned. By 3 a.m., I was parked outside the 24-hour gym. I sat there, engine running, replaying her voice again and again. You really are the most gullible man I've ever met. She meant it. It wasn't said in anger or shock. It was like she'd been waiting to say it, practicing it in her head for weeks, maybe months. I went home at sunrise. She was in the kitchen, hair damp from a shower, drinking coffee like it was a regular Friday. She didn't flinch when I walked in. Just looked up and said, I left the door unlocked again. You want breakfast? I stared at her in disbelief. Is this a joke to you? She exhaled, set the mug down. No. But you turning this into a tragedy is. Then she started clearing the dishwasher. I asked her who he was. She said, a man who knows how to make me feel alive. I asked if it had been going on long. She said, does it matter? You've been emotionally checked out since before COVID. You treat me like I'm wallpaper. The guy works hard. He listens. He doesn't judge me. The garbage man? I asked. He has a name. And more ambition than you've shown in years. That one hit. Not because it was true, but because she knew exactly where to aim. I'd been laid off for 6 months back in 2022. I took temp work to keep us afloat. She resented every minute of it. She'd go to dinner parties and lie, said I was consulting. Truth was, I was stacking paint cans at Home Depot for $14 an hour. I asked her if she was done with the guy, if we had any chance left. She scoffed. You think this was a mistake? No, babe. This was clarity. She didn't even flinch when I said I wanted a divorce. She nodded, said she'd been expecting it. She already had a lawyer's name written down. slid it across the counter like she was handing me a takeout menu. That's when I realized this wasn't new. This had been planned. Me walking in on them? That wasn't an accident. That was intentional. A performance. A closing act. I took the number, left the house, and drove straight to the bank. Froze the joint accounts. Changed every password. She'd already pulled $5,000 2 days earlier. That same day, I got a call from my brother. "You okay?" he asked. "Not really," I said. "Turns out my wife's been sleeping with the trash collector." He was silent for a second. Then he said, "Wait, the guy from her gym?" I froze. "What did you just say?" He cleared his throat. "I didn't want to bring this up, man. But I saw them together at that smoothie place by the YMCA. Thought it was weird. They were sitting real close. She was feeding him with her spoon. I figured, nah, couldn't be. Couldn't be. Right. So now it wasn't just the betrayal, it was the fact that other people knew. That they'd seen her disrespect me in public, like some sitcom side character too dumb to notice the punchline. She let me walk around like that. Smiling, holding her hand, introducing her at parties like I was the luckiest man alive. Meanwhile, she was laughing at me. But that wasn't the worst part. Not yet. That came Monday, when I found the video. And everything changed. It was on a thumb drive in her purse. I wasn't looking for it. I'd come home Monday to grab some old tax documents from the filing cabinet in the bedroom, documents she hadn't moved yet. She was out. Probably at yoga. That's what she'd written on the dry erase board in the kitchen. Cute. Her bag was sitting wide open on the dresser. Not her usual one. This was her gym tote. The same one she used when she started working out 3 nights a week with a new trainer. I'd seen the guy. His arms were bigger than my legs, and his neck disappeared into his shoulders. Out of habit, I glanced in, then froze. A cheap red USB drive, unmarked, half-tucked in a side pocket. I knew what it was before I even plugged it in. Some part of me just knew. I took it to the den, closed the blinds, and put it into the laptop. 3 files. All video. All labeled by date. I clicked the most recent one, and I watched. I saw my wife, my actual wife, on our couch. The one my mom helped us pick out. She was in one of my old shirts. The same one she used to steal to sleep in when we first moved in together. She wasn't alone. He was sitting next to her. The sanitation worker. Shirtless. She kissed him like it was the most natural thing in the world. No shame. No hesitation. Just raw affection. The kind I hadn't seen from her in years. Then she said it. "Do you think he'll finally get the message now?" He laughed. "If not, I'll come by in uniform next time." She grinned. "I'd love that." They were mocking me. Filming it. Like I was a joke. Like my entire life was some long-running prank show, and I was the last to find out the cameras were rolling. At one point, she looked straight into the lens and said, "To clarity." He repeated it like a toast. "To clarity." I ejected the drive, threw it into the garbage disposal, and flicked the switch. The machine screamed as the plastic tore apart. I wanted to smash the laptop too, but I needed it for what I was about to do next. Because at that moment, something in me clicked. I wasn't just going to walk away from this. I was going to burn everything down, legally, financially, reputationally. And I was going to do it with the same smile she gave me when I caught her. By the time she came home from yoga, I was already on my second burner phone, drafting the emails. One to her boss. One to her HOA board, where she was still running for secretary. And one to her mother. But the one that mattered most, the one that would change the game, was to my divorce attorney's assistant. Subject line. Urgent, adultery documentation, video evidence included. Attached were 3 files, recovered, renamed, and compressed. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need revenge porn or drama. I just needed the court to see what I saw. Because she wanted clarity. I was about to give her more of it than she could handle. By Tuesday morning, my attorney's office had already filed an emergency motion to modify the divorce proceedings based on new evidence. The legal term they used was egregious marital misconduct. I preferred the simpler version. She destroyed our marriage on camera. My attorney, Jill Worthington, was a woman who looked like she hadn't smiled since the Obama administration. Mid-50s. Sharp. Efficient. The kind of woman who never asked rhetorical questions because she already had the answers. When I sat in her office and slid the USB clone across the desk, she didn't flinch. She watched it. Silently. No judgment, no reaction. When it ended, she turned to me and said, "Do you want to fight, or do you want to bleed?" "I want her to feel it," I said. "Good. Because she's about to." She explained the strategy. In our state, Adultery doesn't just hurt your pride, it affects spousal support. If we could prove that she used joint assets to conduct the affair, it could even shift the financial obligations in my favor. The moment the court sees her on video with that man, laughing, planning, toasting to her betrayal, they'd have no choice but to reevaluate the terms. She's on camera mocking you while in your home, Jill said. That's not just adultery. That's humiliation. Judges don't like humiliation. We filed everything by noon. Her attorney, some uptight guy named Mark Feldman who once tried to charge me $200 for rescheduling mediation, was served at 3:45 p.m. The court granted a hearing for Thursday, less than 48 hours. That night, she came home like nothing had happened, smiled at me, tried to make small talk about her Pilates class. I said nothing. I just stared at her, calculating. She eventually snapped. Are you just going to mope around and act like a victim forever? I looked her dead in the eye. You'll want to clear your Thursday. Her face twitched. Why? There's a hearing. You've been served. She blinked, confused. I haven't. Mark has. Check your messages. She ran to the bedroom. I heard the phone unlock, the gasp, the sound of her sitting hard on the edge of the bed. Silence for almost a minute. Then, her voice, sharp and low. What did you do? I gave the court what it needs to see. She came back into the hallway, her face pale. You're using the video? You had no right to record me. I didn't. You did. You filmed it. You saved it. You carried it in your bag like a trophy. You're going to ruin me, she whispered. I shrugged. You ruined yourself. I'm just handing in the evidence. She collapsed into a chair like her bones couldn't hold her up anymore. I walked past her, grabbed my jacket, and headed out. Where are you going? She asked. Dinner. With someone who respects me. That last line wasn't true, but it hit her like a bullet. And for once, she didn't have a smug little smile. She just sat there, still, silent, wounded, exactly how she left me 5 nights ago. Thursday morning hit like a hammer. The courthouse lobby smelled like old coffee and floor wax. I wore my best suit, pressed shirt, polished shoes, not a wrinkle in sight. Jill was already there, calm as ever, flipping through a folder like it was any other Thursday. My wife walked in 10 minutes later. Alone. No lawyer. No smug smile. Just a tight black dress and a look on her face I hadn't seen in months, fear. She walked over to me like nothing had happened. We don't have to do this, she whispered. I didn't look at her. We already are. Jill stood up. You ready? I nodded, and we walked in. The courtroom was half empty, just the judge, the clerk, and a sleepy bailiff who looked like he hated everyone equally. My wife sat across from us at the respondent's table. A court-appointed mediator whispered in her ear, confused and scrambling, probably just briefed 5 minutes ago. Judge Simmons looked over the file Jill submitted and adjusted his glasses. This is not a typical modification request, he said flatly. No, Your Honor, Jill said. It's based on newly obtained evidence, voluntarily created and stored by the respondent, showing a multi-month extramarital affair conducted inside the marital home and funded, in part, by joint assets. The judge raised an eyebrow. Jill continued. We have video, audio, calendar entries, text messages. The respondent filmed herself mocking my client while in bed with another man, inside the residence, on furniture paid for with marital funds. The judge leaned back. Let me get this straight. She filmed it. Yes, Your Honor, Jill said, sliding over the exhibits. 3 recordings. Dates confirmed by metadata, all of which meet evidentiary standards. He opened the folder, saw the still images, flipped to the financials. My wife shifted in her seat like the chair was on fire. Did you send a copy to the respondent's counsel? The judge asked. She had no counsel until this morning. But yes, Your Honor. Confirmed received 7:22 a.m. via email. The judge turned to my wife. Ma'am, do you dispute the authenticity of these recordings? Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. They're real, she mumbled. So you acknowledge you brought another man into the marital home and filmed explicit interactions without your spouse's knowledge? She nodded. And you used the joint account to pay for hotel rooms and gifts? I didn't think. That much is clear, the judge cut in. He set the file down and looked straight at me. Mr. Talbot, I'm vacating the prior support arrangement effective immediately. Your obligation to pay alimony is suspended. Your petition to assume primary residence is granted, pending a final custody hearing. The home remains with you. My ex inhaled sharply, her eyes wide. No words. Just that panic. Your Honor, the mediator stammered. This is moving. It's moving because I've seen enough. The judge snapped. The law's clear. Adultery with documented financial misuse inside the marital residence nullifies equitable support under Statute 12.45c. She wanted clarity. She got it. Bang. Gavel down. Case moved. And just like that, everything she thought she had was gone. I didn't celebrate. I didn't smile. I stood up, straightened my jacket, and walked out without saying a word. Outside, Jill turned to me. That went better than expected. I nodded. Yeah, but it's not over yet. Not by a long shot, she said. Next is reputational fallout. And based on what's coming. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Because my wife had spent years building an image. And I had just broken the glass from the inside. The courthouse fallout began within hours. Her campaign for HOA secretary, done. One of the board members, Mr. Halloran, called me directly. Said he'd been sent an anonymous email with screenshots from the video evidence and financial records. Said it raised character concerns. I didn't send it, but I know exactly who did. Her boss, James Mercer, called Friday morning. He left a voicemail I'll never delete. John, I'm not calling as your wife's employer. I'm calling as someone who thought she was a friend. I saw the footage. I saw the receipts. I'm speechless. We'll be reviewing her position immediately. He wasn't speechless. He was furious. Because she used company credit cards during those client retreats, meals with her affair partner, Ubers to and from their hotel, a massage she expensed as a team-building wellness session. All of it traceable. All of it real. By Friday night, she was suspended pending a full investigation. She came to the house at 9 p.m. sharp, banging on the front door like a cop. I didn't open it. Just watched through the side window. John, she screamed. You ruined me. No. She did that. I just stopped covering for it. She finally left after 15 minutes, throwing her heels into the yard and peeling off in her little silver SUV, the one I bought, I insured, and I had just moved into my name. By Saturday morning, my inbox was full. Friends, neighbors, even a few of her coworkers. One subject line stood out. You deserved better. We all saw it. It was from a woman named Ava. She worked 2 desks down from my wife at the office. She said the guy Sanitation Sam, as she called him, used to pick her up around the corner from the building so the security cameras wouldn't catch him. They were careful, but not careful enough. We all knew something was off, Ava wrote. But seeing the way she laughed at you in that video, that made me sick. Just know, everyone's on your side. I didn't know what to do with that. I wasn't used to support. I was used to silence. Apologies made behind closed doors and betrayal explained with therapy words and half-truths. But this time, she couldn't explain her way out. Not to me. Not to the court. Not to the people she stepped on for years. That night, she sent a message through our mutual friend, Carla. Said she wanted to talk privately, face-to-face. Carla wrote. She's crying. She says she didn't think it would go this far. I replied. She toasted to it. No response. Because that's what this was, wasn't it? A toast. To clarity. To destruction. To ego. And now she was choking on the very wine she raised in my name. But I wasn't done. Not even close. Because her next mistake was trying to touch the one thing I still lived for. Our daughter. And that's when I stopped playing defense. Sunday evening, I got the text from Emma, our daughter, 17, senior year, already applying to colleges. Can we talk? Mom says some stuff I need to ask you about. I was at the grocery store. I stopped cold in the frozen foods aisle, one hand on a bag of peas, my chest tightening like someone pressed a boot to it. I texted back. Of course. Come by after 5. She showed up at 5:04, hoodie on, no makeup, eyes red. I hadn't seen her in 3 days, not since the hearing. I was terrified of what she might say. She sat across from me at the kitchen island, fingers curled around a mug of tea she didn't sip. Did you really hire someone to follow her? I nodded. Yes. She looked down, like she didn't know whether to be angry or relieved. She said you planned it. That you were waiting to catch her so you could ruin her. I leaned forward. Emma, I didn't plan her affair. She filmed it. She brought him here. She lied to both of us. She said you edited the videos, she whispered. I didn't speak. I just walked over to the drawer, pulled out a flash drive, and handed it to her. That's a full copy. With the metadata files. You can take it. Watch it. Ask your computer teacher if you want to verify anything. She didn't take it. She told Grandma you manipulated her. That you. I cut her off. She's lying again. I haven't touched your mom since March. Not physically, not emotionally. She's spinning because everything's falling apart, and she can't accept that she did this to herself. Emma looked away. I'm not going to say anything bad about your mom, I said, quieter now. She's still your mother. But I need you to understand something. This isn't about two people falling out of love. It's about disrespect. About someone treating the people who love them like tools. Like props. Silence. Then she said it. She said if I wanted her help with tuition, I'd have to move in with her. I felt it. The shift. That desperate final move. The kind you only make when the rest of the board is lost. She said she won't co-sign any loans unless I pick her side. There it was. She wasn't done breaking things. She wanted leverage. And the only thing left that mattered was Emma. I stayed calm. You know you're not a pawn, right? Emma nodded slowly, but tears slid down her cheeks. She wiped them away with the sleeve of her hoodie. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm being ripped in half. You don't have to choose, I said. But I'm not letting her use you to fix her image. And if she tries... Emma interrupted, voice shaking. She already posted a photo of us from last Christmas. Captioned it, family first. No matter what. My jaw clenched. She was using Emma as a prop. As a post. As a PR campaign. I took the mug from Emma's hands gently and set it down. You live here. You're safe here. If she tries to use your future as leverage, I'll cover every cent of your college myself. I'll sell my truck. I'll cash in my pension early. You won't owe her anything. Emma nodded again, a little faster. Then she said, she's not the same person anymore. I think she's sick. No, I said. She's finally being seen. That night, Emma posted something of her own. Just a photo of a coffee mug on our kitchen counter, steam curling up toward the ceiling. No caption. Just 3 words in the comments. Truth lives here. Her mother saw it. I know she did. She texted Emma 5 times in under an hour. Blocked. That was the last time she tried to weaponize our daughter. And the first time I realized. The tide wasn't just turning. It had already turned. But I wasn't stopping there. I had one more move left. And it would hit her exactly where she lived. Her name. Monday morning, I met with Jill at her office. She was already reviewing the documents I'd dropped off Friday. Employment contracts, tax returns, charity board filings, a few screen-capped social media posts my daughter had quietly saved before she blocked her mother. This, Jill said, tapping the file, is going to hurt. Good, I said. I'm not trying to humiliate her. I'm just going to show people who she really is. We weren't going for defamation. Nothing dramatic. Just slow, methodical accountability. Every lie tied to a legal consequence. Every exaggeration peeled back until her image cracked and slipped off. Jill had a plan for all of it. First, we sent a formal complaint to her employer's ethics board. It wasn't just the affair. It was her billing hours during those nights with her boyfriend, charging the firm for time spent in hotel rooms and fake client meetings. That's called fraud. Even if they didn't fire her, they'd have to investigate. And law firms don't like liabilities wearing heels and designer scarves. Second, we sent a formal revocation of joint statements she'd included me in, specifically the philanthropy couple branding we'd been used for in local charity circles. She'd been applying for a city grant under that name, claiming a dual-income household reinvesting in community infrastructure. Jill submitted a notarized statement to the funding board. They opened a compliance review by noon. Third, we filed a cease and desist against her campaign page. She'd used a photo of our family, my face included, on her HOA secretary campaign flyer. Jill wrote it up in legalese so brutal it could cut concrete. By Tuesday morning, all her social pages were taken offline. And finally, there was the school board. A year ago, she'd started lobbying for a seat, bragging to anyone who would listen that she was next in line to represent the district's parents. Her whole platform was about integrity, transparency, family values. So I did the one thing she never saw coming. I leaked her video. Not the explicit parts, just the 5 seconds where she looked into the camera, glass of wine in hand, and said, to clarity, he'll never see it coming. It was enough. The clip ended up on a neighborhood Facebook group called Fairview Parents United. It spread like wildfire. Within 24 hours, the post had over 600 shares. Her name, once floated as a pillar of the community, was now a cautionary tale. By Wednesday, the local paper published a headline. Fairview candidate under scrutiny after leaked affair video surfaces. They blurred her face. But everyone knew. The comments section confirmed it. She tried to do damage control. Released a statement on LinkedIn about private matters being taken out of context. But the internet doesn't care about context. It cares about irony. And nothing says irony like a family values advocate, caught cheating on camera and raising a glass to her husband's humiliation. I didn't gloat. I didn't say a word. Because she built her name on an illusion. All I did was turn on the light. By Friday, she stepped down from everything: job, board, campaign. Her brand was dead. But she still had one more card to play. She tried to come back. To my house. To me. And that's when I gave her the final document. The one that ended everything. She showed up at my door Saturday morning. No warning. No makeup. Just a blank stare and a manila envelope in her hands like she didn't even know how to hold it. I didn't open the door right away. Just watched her through the peephole. The same woman who smirked at me from our bed 5 weeks ago now looked like she hadn't slept since Tuesday. I opened the door. Just a crack. Please, she said. Her voice cracked. Can I just talk to you? I let her in. Only because Emma wasn't home. Only because I wanted to see what desperation looked like from the inside out. She sat at the kitchen table. Same chair she used to lecture me from when I forgot trash day. Now she looked like the trash had been dumped on her front lawn. I lost my job, she said. The grant's gone. The board seat's off the table. I've been blacklisted from every local firm. No one returns my calls. Not even my sister. She paused. I know I messed up. Messed up. That's what she called it. I was stupid, and I got caught up in something. But I still love you. I didn't say a word. She took a breath, reached into the envelope, and pulled out a handwritten letter. I wrote this for court, but I want you to read it first. I didn't move. It's a full confession. Everything. Every hotel. Every gift. Every lie. I signed it. Dated it. I even had it notarized. Still, I said nothing. I'll give up any claim to the house, she continued. I'll drop the custody request. I'll accept zero alimony. Just don't destroy me any further. Please. And that's when I put my own envelope on the table. She looked at it like it might explode. What's this? My terms, I said. She opened it. Read silently. Then again. Slower this time. You want a mutual no-contact order? I nodded. You can see Emma only through a family liaison. All communication goes through legal channels. You sign this, we finalize everything within 30 days. No trial. No court. Just clean cuts. She looked up at me, shaking. You don't even want to talk anymore? No, I said. I wanted that 5 weeks ago. You made your toast. Now I'm making mine. I stood. She stayed seated, staring at the document. Then at me. This is who you are now, she asked. No, I said. This is who I was before you tried to break me. The only difference is, I'm done pretending you're still someone worth forgiving. She signed it. Right there at the table. Didn't ask for a pen. Didn't even hesitate. Then she left. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't turn back. Just walked out the same door she used to walk through every night with a fake smile and someone else's perfume on her scarf. That night, I slept like a dead man. No dreams. No rage. Just silence. And in the morning, for the first time in 6 years, I didn't check the door twice before leaving. Because the past wasn't behind that door anymore. It was filed, stamped, and about to be finalized. 30 days later, it was done. The paperwork filed. The divorce finalized. The house deed transferred fully to me. Custody shared legally, but in practice, Emma didn't want to go back to her mother's apartment. And her mother didn't push it. That notarized confession she handed me? Jill submitted it with the settlement. It became a permanent record, admissible in any future legal disputes. Insurance, employment, custody, all of it. I didn't need to destroy her. I just stopped shielding her from her own consequences. She resigned from every committee. Her LinkedIn bio changed from civic leader to freelance consultant. The last time I checked, her profile picture was still smiling. Still wearing the navy blazer I bought her during a clearance sale 3 years ago. Meanwhile, Emma's college acceptance letters started rolling in. Northwestern, Michigan, Georgia Tech. I told her to pick whichever one she wanted. She asked if she'd have to speak to her mom about financial aid. I told her, no, her mom had signed away all claim to future decision-making. Emma chose Northwestern. I paid her deposit the same day. A week later, I got a text from an unknown number. I'm sorry. Truly. I miss what we had. I didn't reply, because we didn't have anything. I had loyalty. She had options. And now? Now I had peace. I renovated the bedroom. Got rid of the mattress. Replaced the frame. tore out the closet doors she insisted were French minimalist, and replaced them with solid wood, built by hand. I even got a dog, a golden retriever named Jasper. He follows me room to room, no questions asked. No betrayal hidden behind bright eyes. Just honest companionship. Sometimes, I sit on the back porch with a coffee in hand and Jasper by my feet, and I think about what it cost to get here. Years of trust, tens of thousands in joint assets. A broken daughter who needed time to learn not all love is manipulation. But it was worth it. Because now, when I hear the word clarity, I don't think of her wine glass or her smirk. I think of silence, of stillness, of a home that no longer echoes with lies. She wanted to toast to my downfall, so I made one of my own. Only mine was served in court, not a wine glass. And instead of cheers, the only word I needed was signed.